Hot Talk, our special program on Southeast Reporters. You know how it used to be. Today we have another hot topic about an institution, a very important one here in Aba, the Ninlan Demonstration Secondary School. And we actually don't know what is happening there. I believe the PTA committee or whatever they're called, they will know better. And today we have some gentlemen in our studio, important gentlemen who know many things about that school. And I will let them introduce themselves so that we flow without wasting your time. And I don't know, sir, can you just introduce yourself for our viewers to know you?
My name is Dr. Chidi Emelike, and I am the PTA chairman of the Ninlan Demonstration Secondary School. That's the secondary arm of the institution.
All right, you're welcome, sir. And what about you, sir?
Yes, my name is Machuku CG. I am a lawyer, and I am an ESCO of the secondary section of the school.
All right, viewers, you've heard it, and it's always good to get the people who are involved in the matter to explain the matter properly, and our job is to let them say what they know about it. And before I delve into things I ought to know and things I don't know much, sir, let me start with you, sir. I don't know, there seems to be some grievances coming out from Ninlan Demonstration Secondary School, and I know you have your children there. We don't know what the matter is. What is really the problem? What are your grievances for?
Thank you very much. I think before I go forward, I think it will be necessary at this point to let us understand that we are not here on our personal capacity or just as individual parents.
Here representing the entire parents of the Ninlan Demonstration Secondary,
Okay.
and also the primary and the nursery and primary arm. Just for want of space, all of us cannot be here. But we at some point had to join forces as Ninlan Demonstration Secondary School and the Ninlan Nursery and Primary School. Both PTAs and both parents joined forces to prosecute.
You're speaking on behalf of both PTAs?
Yes.
Okay, that is noted.
Okay, fine. Now, the thing is this. We've had our children in the schools, and we've been having a good relationship, and the school has been running. Up until this present session, some months or before the end of the last session, there was a change in management, and the previous ED, his tenure was over, and then a new ED was introduced.
As executive director?
Executive director, yes. Now, at the end of, we went and received the executive director, and we were hopeful, we were excited that at this time, an Abia-born is there. Not just an Abia-born, a son of the soil, whom we believe that would even take us to greater height. Not that others have not done well,
okay,
but also expecting that now that it's homemade, that we're going to have even better, relationship and all the rest of it. So, at a point, we were invited by the management to interface, and of course to receive the new ED, and we graciously attended. And in that meeting, the ED informed us that he has looked at Ninlan, he has come in, he's trying to settle down, but that we should be expecting that there would be a fee review. Well, we didn't quite like that, but we weren't to preempt whatever was going to be. But we only said that, well, whereas you said it might be necessary, let's also have a human face to it. Let's consider maybe just minimal increment, considering that in the last tenure, some fees had just been introduced. In the first 2 sessions ago, the boarding fees, 3 sessions ago, the boarding fees was moved from 60,000 to 70,000. 2 sessions ago, it was moved from 70,000.
We'll come to the breakdown. Yeah. I'm just trying to know what your grievances are.
So these increments have been there. So we pleaded that, please, the parents have experienced a lot of increments before now, and that if anything must come up now, that it should just be minimal.
Okay.
And they took that into notice. And then when they now invited us again, they now gave us a sheet that the fees were increased by over 100%.
That was after the first interface.
Yes.
They now increase it.
Yes.
That was it.
And they gave us that. And we told them, please, this is not fair. This is not, I don't think the parents can afford this.
Okay.
And that please look at it.
Okay.
review it, and we're expecting, just like we pleaded the first instance, that if there must be increment, it should just be minimal, with certain percentage, not to this extent. And more so, a lot of things that were not there ab initio were not being introduced.
All right. All right.
And then on the third visit, they just told us that this is what they can do and that they wouldn't go beyond that.
And that is the main issue.
Before I get to the breakdown, I want to come to you, Barrister.
Yeah.
You know, he said something.
That when the new ED came on board, you people were hoping for better relationship.
Sure.
I want to know, currently, what is the relationship between the PTA and the management?
The relationship between the there is basically no relationship between the PTA and the management. Why do I say so? When you have an existing strong PTA and the management is there, there is no way you will increase school fees and introduce levies without a consultation. Remember, consultation is not your coming to tell me what you want. You also allow my own input. What they are calling meetings is still strange to me, because when we talk about consultation, we are talking about an exchange or a synthesization of ideas. Are you getting my point? So when you come together and say, okay, let us do this way, I say, we come to a middle term. That is consultation. Not when you come and foist something on me and flip the paper on me and tell me, this is what I want. So there is no good relationship between the PTA and the management of the school, because there has been this misgiving going around about the status of the school. The school, from their website, is a service unit of the National Institute of Nigerian Languages. The National Institute of Nigerian Languages is a federal government institution. And being a federal government institution, every service point they have cannot be private.
Okay.
It is federal government service unit. The remitter we pay is to the federal government. Now, one may even begin to get worried and say, how much is even this money? Fine. We are not looking at the money. It is the extortionist intentions behind the fees. Yes! It is not about the total money. We pay the federal government, from what I'm seeing, it should be about 65.
It used to be 35.
Yes.
We'll come to that.
So when you look at the intentions, you cannot give me rotten banana and tell me to pay 5,000 naira. I can afford it, but I want to pay for value.
All right.
It will be unfair for you to watch a fellow man extort you of one couple. So we are saying that the over 60% of the fees we were asked to pay has extortionist motives.
Okay.
But for that, that's the angle I want us to be looking at, and not whether the school fees is high or whether it is low.
Okay.
That is all.
Let's come to something. Back to you, sir. You know, increment. I believe our viewers and people out there, we like to know the breakdown of this increment. Is it just the fees, or are there things that are attached that people need to know and take note of?
Let me say something. When we started, I introduced myself as a medical doctor, and he introduced himself as a barrister. Maybe he's coming from that perspective to now suggest that the fees may be affordable. But in that institution, we have civil servants.
Sure. That's another.
We have paid workers, employed workers, and employees of even the same institution.
By the time you look at the total breakdown and ask yourself what their total remunerations are, then we should be able to look at the affordability of that school by those individuals. So when we come to speak, we're not just speaking because we want the thing to be reduced for us. We are speaking because the parents are crying out that most of them, and a quite number of them, cannot afford these current fees. So, and they came in understanding that this is a government school, or at least a government subvented school, we are aware, first of all, like you told you, we pay a chunk of the fees into remitter account. Remitter belongs to the federal government, it's not a private enterprise. And then most of the teachers are also mainstreamed and paid directly by the federal government.
Okay.
So if you have this going, it does not in any way suggest that it's a private enterprise in any way.
That should be profit, basically
Profit oriented.
Yes.
That's the issue.
Now coming back to the
Yeah, the
question
breakdown.
that you asked earlier. In the last 2024-2025 academic session, this is the newsletter that we were given, and this is the breakdown of the fees. Acceptance fee, 10,000 naira
That's for new
for
entrants.
new entrants. Then school fees, tuition fee, 35,000 payable into remitter.
What level?
Secondary,
Okay.
payable into remitter. Then works and maintenance fee that was just introduced.
2024.
It was introduced in 2024 session.
Okay.
That was 3,000 naira. And then other fees. These ones now, these other fees and these works and maintenance goes into Ninlan Consult's account,
Not to remitter.
not to remitter, making a total of
What is
49,000.
other fees?
That is the extortionist intention I was pointing
The
at.
breakdown is here. This is a public
The
document.
document
that
you can air.
Parents were given.
Other fees.
Yeah, this
No
is
explanation.
No, nothing, no breakdown.
now the boarding fees as at that last session was 100,000.
2024.
2024, 2025. Meanwhile, 2022, 2023, it was 60,000. The next year, it was moved to 70,000.
The other year, 100,000, and this other year now, 140,000. So every session, the
That's
burden fees
40,000.
is increased.
Like 40,000 naira.
So for somebody who was there less than 3 years ago, is now having 100% increment in burden fees
Okay.
in a space of 3 years. We've
Okay.
gotten not more than, because it was from 60 to 140. That's about 120%
That's huge.
increment.
It's huge.
And it continues. So if you continue to keep quiet, it will continue to increase. Now, while parents have been paying this, struggling to, though,
The 2024.
yes, this year we now got another fee review, and in that fee review, the tuition fee that used to be 35,000. This is the breakdown, it's a public document,
Okay.
was moved from 35,000 to 65,000. In fact, when he said they made some adjustment, initially it was moved to 75,000. After we continue to talk, we just told us once they can do is to remove 10,000 and to become 65,000. So from 35 to 65,000, the maintenance fee was still kept
3,000.
at 3,000. Now, if a school that you pay school fees, which is the tuition fee, you now introduce ICT fees.
ICT fees.
Yes,
As a subject, or
I wouldn't know.
does that
For
point to
all
what
classes.
barrister called extortionist
Of course, for
intention?
all classes from JS1 to SS3, you introduce ICT fee.
Were they
5.
offering computers as subjects before?
It's not even, computer is not for all classes. Meanwhile, even when we talk about relationship,
Okay,
with,
don't worry,
Let-
continue,
let-
because
let-
I would like to know the
it's a public document that we're given. We wouldn't just generate
Okay.
this.
It's all right, sir.
These are documents from the school to us.
It's okay. It's
So the ICT fee was introduced.
okay.
As if that is not enough, the same student who is paying school fees would pay examination fee to write his termly exam, 5,000 naira every term. The same student who has paid school fees to the school. He wasn't there before. You now introduce examination fee, 5,000 naira. Now the school has a sick bay, and over 80% of the students are day students.
Over 80%.
Yes, because you have over 1,000 students in the school, and the
And the secondary section.
yes, secondary section, and the primary section has, another primary has about 800 persons. So you have over 1,800 students in the both schools. And in the boarding facility, you have less than 200 boarders. In fact, the last analysis they did was about 160. So if you look at the 160 out of 1,000, that's about 15% or 16% that are boarders.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to reflect those that will even have major need for the clinic.
All right.
Most of the day students, except for
They'll
now.
be taken care of by their parents.
And remember that every term is a space of 3 months. So you are asking every student in the secondary to pay 10,000 every 3 months for the clinic, and then those in the primary and secondary every 3 months to pay in the primary and nursery to pay 5,000 every 3 months. So if you put all this together, you are requesting for about 14 or 15 million to run the dispensary for 3 months.
That's huge.
A dispensary that doesn't have a doctor.
A fee that has not been there before. Now, that was still not enough. You now tell us that you're going to introduce caution fee. A caution fee that will be paid by every student annually. 20,000
What's that?
Caution, please.
20,000 caution fee.
To understand what caution should be. I want to believe that my understanding of caution fee is a non-refundable fee in lieu of any damage. Sorry, it's a refundable fee in lieu of any damage or destruction that will be done in in a place or in a place that you hire or lease. But in this case, you are expected to pay a non-refundable annual caution fee. Every year you pay 20,000. Every year you pay 20,000 until you exceed the scope. So 120,000 for whatsoever thing. I wouldn't understand the description. So you understand that there's enough reason for parents to say this is not realistic. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
So we have to reach out to everybody and anybody to understand us and to hear us. We are calling on them to rescind and retract this obnoxious and unfriendly hike in fees. And it's at the time that people are struggling to do this. It's even coming at a point that federal government is already taking off fees from most institutions. The state government is doing similar things. Schools are social, commodities that people should actually get almost at no cost. And then those ones that are being provided by the institution, we visited some of the community leaders, the leaders of the community, the SS, and that what they expressed, it was painful.
Look, I mean, in terms of the breakdown, are you done with the breakdown?
And then even the boarding fees, like I said, was also increased from the 100 again to 140.
All right.
Meaning that a child that should stay, if you have 3 kids in the boarding in that school, every 3 months you cover 350,000 naira, and for the 1 year you'll be expecting to cover about 2.2 million.
What will be the average salary of every staff in that school?
And we know what the
and
minimum wage is.
And how they can afford such a school that's supposed to be for the staff.
All right, sir. All right, sir. Before we go to the analysis of these viewers, I believe you've had,
and I know that the barrister is itching to say something, because I will get his view from the legal angle of all these things that have been broken down now. But I want you to sit tight. We'll take a short break and then come back to the second lap of this event. Thank you. Viewers, you are welcome back to Hot Talk, and we are still in the studio discussing about the issue at the Ninlan demonstration secondary school. It's one that I believe some of you who have been listening must have been asking what is really happening. We are in an era where state governments are looking for ways to even use schools as palliatives for parents. Things are going down now. Some states are even considering removing some fees and making things easy because the economy is seriously hurting everybody. I believe the government can do something about it. But what we're hearing here today is still, because before we went to the barrister, I was coming to you and I'm now back to you. I believe the PTA chairman broke everything down for us, and the one that very seriously, all of them caught my attention actually, but the one that seriously caught my attention is this issue of a caution fee. I don't know what that means, and you can tell us from the legal angle of almost all the things here, knowing the fact that you were not even consulted. What does it look like?
Thank you for the opportunity. Caution fee, as we all know, is a refundable fee. You deposit with the owner of an institution that is paid back to you where you don't damage anything.
Your contract or whatever period you're going to stay. If you damage anything, the caution fee will be amortized as payment for what you have damaged.
All right.
Now, what will be logic behind making caution fee timely. When you pay caution fee, it ought to continue to run until you are seen to have damaged something. So the presumption is that at the point you are paying school fees and you are meant to pay caution fee every time as part of what you're supposed to pay as school fees.
If you have been deemed to have damaged something,
You'll be damaging things.
20,000 every year. That is extortion. That's one.
I mean, the person is destructive.
Now check the number of students you have in that school. When you pay 20,000 naira every time, it looks small for an individual. But when you look at 20,000 times 1,000 every 3 months, and that is for secondary. What can a primary or nursery school child damage that will make them to pay 10,000?
That's another one.
So if you look at the whole thing, it is, like I said, extortion. Now, let's also look at the issue of the relationship between the school and the parents as it is now.
There is an ongoing contractual agreement. Why do I say so? Now, if you ask me now to take my daughter who is in SS2 to another school in Abia State, that means that my daughter wouldn't be able to write YF because they said any school where, that's the new Abia State government policy now on education, any school where you did SS2 is where you are going to write YF because there was an exam the Abia State government introduced that you must take before you can go and write SS3. Now, for my daughter who is in the land, if I take her out of that school now to go and start looking for a school, it means that she would have suffered an inconvenience that was orchestrated by someone's refusal to come to the table with me. Right. That is one. I'm coming. This child you're talking about has the right to education.
Of course.
That this child you're talking about now is a complete individual with full fundamental rights. I'm just a parent. Now you are talking about this consideration now. Now you also go to the part of an agreement between the school management and the PTA. What does the PTA of a school stand for? The PTA of a school is the body that regulates the relationship between parents and teachers. So you cannot expect that the parents will sit back and watch you come to alter an ongoing agreement without notice. The first thing we expected the ED to do, legally speaking, was what he has done, to make an offer contractually. Once he makes that offer, which is, this is what I want, the parents will now go back and furnish an acceptance.
And this is what the negotiation, the consultation would have brought about. But rather than doing that, what he did was to unilaterally increase school fees. If it was his private venture, you cannot question it. But we are looking at a school one. The land where that school is being run was donated by Umokahia village and Umuola, Abanot and Obimwa. And from what we gathered from the elders of that community, this school was established as a social corporate contribution of the institute that was given the land to run that school as a demonstration school for the staff and for the enjoyment of the children living within that polity. Now, what is the rationale behind increasing school fees that is above minimum wage? That is a direct attack on the policies of government on education. Okay. It doesn't make sense at all. All right. So the issue of this caution fee is illegal.
All right, sir. All right, sir. I think you've touched on that. I don't know whether you have anything to touch on it so that I can just ask you your prayers, because you didn't just come out to give all this. I believe you have.
And there are some offices the request should go to.
Yes.
If you're moving straight to that, you go straight to that. But do you have anything to add to what the barrister have just said?
I said a lot on the legality from the legal standpoint of the increment.
Do you want to touch on the medical?
No, that's okay. Now, the points are this. When this position was taken, the parents met and they said, please, we would like to meet this management to reconsider their option.
Was the opportunity given?
Now, the parents sent a delegation to the management of the school. After all discussion, they said they will get back to us to give us a date for such meeting. While we were waiting for that date, we got a letter from the management. And I'll read just a few paragraphs of that letter to you. The first paragraph says, before the fees payable to Ninlan demonstration, the school interfaced with the executive committee, who have already said that. And then the second part said, it was agreed that that there was need to review fees, although the PTA executive members appealed to management to make the review affordable.
They actually acknowledged that.
This is the document that they gave us. And now it says, on the strength of the appeal, Ninlan management carried out a reduction in the already resolved fees. Now that means there was a resolved fee, like I was saying, there was no consultation. So the fees had already been resolved
by the management.
By the
It's
management.
an admission against interest by them.
And then they now, on their own, just did a reduction. I told you that they moved from 75 to 65, and that was all. And then, invited the PTA executive on the third visit to inform them of the final fee regime.
So where is the agreement?
To inform them of the final fee, refit. And then I say it is important to state clearly that no school consults parents, guardians. So trying to say that even that there is no consultation. That means they're telling you that they didn't have any reason to consult.
Of course,
that means they don't need to consult the
sure.
That's the document that we have. And then they also went further to say that this fee, look at the fifth paragraph here, it says, this is to inform all concerned that the current published fee regime at Ninlan schools stands and shall not be further reviewed until the next 3 years. Now, what you asked for our prayers.
Yeah.
Now, when we got all this on the platform, the parents, through the committee that they set up to meet the management for dialogue, now said, okay, let us even consult further and understand the status of the school. That's why he's referencing, we met the elders of the community, and we have written to the council, the governing council, we have written to the Minister of Education, we have written to Commissioner for Basic Education, Basic and Secondary Education in Abia State, we've written to the Executive Governor of Abia State, we've written to the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, House of Assembly, we've written to the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, House of Rep, and of course the Speaker, House of Assembly in Abia State, and we've done several letters of which the management is aware. The school just resumed last week, and then just on Tuesday, they published on the platform, on their notice board, that they will be sending students away from the school
based on these fees.
Based on these fees, while discussions and negotiations are ongoing, while we're still trying to get them to reconsider. So what is our prayer?
All right.
First of all, our prayer is that they should not disenfranchise the children from learning unjustly. These are parents that are willing to pay prescribed fee that is reasonable and agreed. Now, there is no agreement yet, and you want to disenfranchise the children from, learning. That's one. And then we are also calling on all those people that we have written to, and of course, we're going public so that people who hear this can reach out to the institution and the management team and please beckon on them to rescind this decision.
All right.
We are praying that they should revert back to what we used to pay, and then when and if need be, we can get down to the table and now see if there are a few areas where we've had a good relationship in the past with the management. It would interest you to know that PTA has done several projects in that school.
I was even coming to that.
Currently, the school hostels are running on solar power
Courtesy of the PTA.
Courtesy of the purely 100% installed by the PTA. The PTA renovated the biology lab, functional. The PTA is already renovating the physics lab. The last regime renovated the female hostel and fenced it. And several other, we put fans in all the hostels and in the classrooms, the PTA. And these same parents that are having this relationship with you are the same parents you're treating with disdain. Unfortunately, if you come to our platform, a lot of parents are wailing, and quite a number of them have pulled their children from the school looking for other places because they just felt if this is what it is, it's obviously not affordable, so they have to leave. And it is not appropriate, it is not fair.
Barrister, you asked something to the prayers, but before that, I just listened to him and he listed what the PTA have done for the school.
Sure.
And among all these,
It's wanting to say that they don't need to consult you for anything.
Sure.
How do you react to that?
It
And
is-
then make your
It
prayer.
is deeply unfortunate coming from the management because the relationship between the parents and the PTA and the management is contractual. It's contractual. There is no way the school can effectively the management, can effectively do anything without proper consultation.
With the PTA. We are not saying that they must do the biddings of the PTA.
Okay.
But we are saying there ought to be a kind of marriage of ideas. The word I use is marriage of ideas. There should be a fusion of ideas.
Okay.
So my own prayer is this. The executive director should, as a point of primary objective, make out time to come and have a deep, quiet conversation with the parents of the pupils and students of that demonstration school, because that school is the only federal government presence in the entire Aba North, Obiungwa, and Aba South.
With regards to secondary
With regards to education, we don't have any federal government institution. So he cannot just come and begin to begin to behave as if it is a private venture. Again, we have already suffered deformities by being in that school. In that, our children who are now about writing WAEC, if we pull them, because we can no longer afford their education, will now suffer that disadvantage of repeating a class. And this is as a result of what I consider, from my own respectful view, an unwarranted and unlawful increment. Because had there been what if the management had followed the normal procedure, there is no way in a contractual agreement where you have the parents on one side receiving services from you and you are on this side giving services, that you will just come
And do whatever you
the people you can even talk about who can say go to another school are those people who are coming in, fresh, that has the option of going on. Those who are already there are neck deep.
even if you ask the other people to go, you are not supposed to do that.
No, what I'm saying is that a person that is just coming and you give him your terms is for that person to either agree or not agree. But someone who is already in the school is already in an ongoing contract that is just basically contractual, and anything you are doing unilaterally is unlawful.
You can displace that.
So we I don't know, we don't need to begin to go to that extent.
And when you even consider, and you're talking about increment, the question would be, just like we're pointing out here, what are these fees actually intended to serve? Because we just, for instance, we looked at the medical
And the
imposition.
cost of fee.
Now look at the medical fees that you gave. 10,000 per students of the district.
I have a clinic, I know what it will take to attend to, clinics for 3 months in the school. You're targeting 15 million and above to run a clinic for primary and secondary school students, not with admission facilities, not a full-blown hospital. So it's not like, even a profit-making venture, there is huge profit in it. And then you look at The other fees that you're increasing, federal government pays through GPs, or is it, I think it was IPs and then move over to that GPs or so, pays most of the workers. So it's not like you're even saying we increase workers' salary and we can't afford to what we
What
get
to
now.
use it to pay them.
And then we are paying maintenance fee already for the structures that are there. And so I don't know what the improvement is.
Sorry,
I think
Now,
we just have barely a minute to
Now,
wrap
let me
up.
just wrap up. There is this argument that the land is the cheapest around that area. That is wrong. If you go to Accuses, which is an Adventist school.
You are advertising a school again.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
When they need that, they should come.
Okay, let me now, sorry, I'm not in the media. When you go to the schools around there,
Okay.
with the present regime of school fees here, this school is the most expensive.
Currently,
Okay,
yes.
okay, all right. Viewers, you've heard from the
They are saying all they're saying here because they are involved. They have their children there, and they cannot just come out to make facetious issues. What they are saying is what they are passing through, and they have made their prayers. And I want all of you at home to be the judge, and I want the government to listen. The ED, Ninlan, whoever, to whom it may concern. I think this should be resolved so that our children can go back to school and be good citizens and lead this country tomorrow. Thank you, and goodbye.